Welcome to Cleaning Company Blueprint. I'm Vic, and today we have Rohan, who's going to sit in the hot seat call with me, talking all things cleaning business. Okay, so we have Rohan here today, and Rohan, you and I met never in person, always online, but we really started talking when Kevin approached myself and my sister Jen and said, hey, do you want to do a course with Rohan and I? And we recorded that course for this YouTube channel, which is below. So that's how we know each other. But you started this whole thing off, and in almost every single hot seat call, in fact, it might even be almost, somebody can comment and tell me if it is in every single one, somebody has mentioned how they found their cleaning business structure, how they found how to do everything. And it's always, I saw Rohan's Reddit post. So I want to work backwards to, you're from Barbados, you moved to America, you became an accountant.
Yeah.
And then you posted this thing on Reddit showing everybody how to launch, grow, and scale a cleaning company in 30 days.
Yeah, crazy. Yes. So I was born and raised in Barbados, and I got a scholarship to go to university in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I studied accounting, finance, started working in accounting, and I knew I did not love it, but it was okay. I could do it. Like I had the skills to do it. And then I transitioned over to finance. And then at that point, I was working for Freddie Mac, like a large company in the DC metro area. And I figured that, you know what, I could either just do this until I'm 65 years old, or maybe I can try to become an entrepreneur and try something. So I started this, like reading everything I could learn about SEO and internet marketing. And it had to be something where I could start it with very little money, because that's what I had, very little money. And I stumbled across a guy in Texas that started a cleaning business, him and his wife. And I figured, you know what, I could probably pull this off. And I found a guy in Spain, and he built my first version of the website. It was terrible. And I then posted that website on Craigslist. And the first day, somebody came and booked a $159 cleaning. And the first day I posted the website on Craigslist. And I was like, this could be interesting. My goal at the time was to do about $400 a month, so I could pay my car payment and insurance. That was my goal. And by month number 3 or 4, I was doing about $10,000 in sales, about $4,000 in take-home pay. And I was like, this could be something that's life-changing. And I just one random Sunday, I decided to post about what I had been doing on Reddit. And that led to me meeting Kevin and meeting you and meeting like hundreds of other people virtually that have built businesses now. And together we're doing, well in the hundreds of millions of dollars per year from this. It's been a crazy journey. Yeah.
It's a wild journey. So what was your scholarship for? Were you an athlete? Were you particularly smart with accounting? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, I got a scholarship just from high school. I had good grades. Like we have a standardized exam in the Caribbean called CXC.
Okay.
And I got, really, I got good grades, and I got a scholarship based on that. Yeah.
So you were a good student.
Yeah, I was a pretty good student. Yeah.
And now you teach.
I guess so. Yeah.
So I've always been curious, because we didn't find you through the Reddit post. My sister found you. It was in the pandemic. Jen, who does the editing of all of these videos. Jen found you it must have been at the end of May or beginning of May. You did a Twitter thread. Somebody she follows retweeted it, and it was just perfect timing, Rohan. Like perfect timing, where whatever you said. And for context, we're not cleaners. We don't work in cleaning. We own a cleaning company, but this was very much a career pivot. But we found you through the Twitter thread. You've also been on Clubhouse during the pandemic. I remember that. Clubhouse was hot.
Yeah.
But people still always refer back to the Reddit one. So that one obviously had the largest number of followers and the most description, maybe.
For sure.
But I've always wondered, because we thank you every day. like every day in our journals. And, we're always like, anybody asks us, how did you know how to do this crazy thing? And we're like, this guy, Rohan. And
Mhm.
like, everybody always has that little spidey sense of like, where's the scam? Where's the, right? And because
Mhm.
you didn't need to share this stuff.
Right.
The bottom line is you could have kept this totally to yourself. You could have
Mhm.
created franchises for your business. You could have, there's a million different things you could have done. And instead you decided to share it. And that's the piece that I've always been like, I really like that guy because that I have the same philosophy. If you learn something and it helps you, pass that on,
Yeah.
right? Like that's to me, that's just the right thing to do. But you decided to do that and it had a major impact in your life as well,
Yeah. Sure.
right? But so why did you initially decide to do that? Like what made you go, I'm going to share this stuff on Reddit?
So it's because of a small list of people that I learned from on the internet. So when I was trying to figure out entrepreneurship, even though I had a business degree, really and truly everything I learned was after I graduated.
Yeah.
And I would follow this guy called Shoe Money on he had a Shoe Money blog. There was another guy called John Chow, and they would do like local affiliate marketing, general affiliate marketing, e-commerce type marketing. They would do like marketing for dentists where they would get paid per person that walks to the door.
Yep.
All this really cool marketing that they would do. And then through them, I learned about affiliate marketing, customer acquisition, SEO, um, just a whole host of different things that I learned from them. And they
Mm-hmm.
were so open about sharing it. I felt like, I had an obligation to do the same thing. So once I learned and I started to make money and I realized that this was going to be a big business for myself, I knew I couldn't I can't make all the money. And I figured that there's other people that could join, and that's what led me to share. Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah,
And that's exactly what we ended up doing with you guys. Because it
yeah,
was the same thing. Like it was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. And we have, different skills in terms of Jen being able to edit and me
yeah,
being able to talk to people. And so it just organically becomes this thing that is now the YouTube channel, which is really
yeah,
cool.
for sure.
When you launched your business, what year was it?
This was 2012.
2012. So we're now June 17th, 2024.
Hmm.
You've now taught at least 3,000. I mean, we really don't know because it's the internet and you've put it all
Yeah,
out there and
it's
anybody can
all
follow it.
public.
But
Yeah,
let's assume around 3,000 people because that's
hmm,
the number that I know Kevin uses.
yeah,
Um, and you've had various software versions over the years.
hmm,
So you created your first website, then you created a software. Is that
hmm.
accurate?
Yeah. So as the business was growing, like real quick, I got up to $50,000 a month. But I got up to $50,000 a month. I was using a bunch of like a hodgepodge of different tools. I was using like Zoho and like a Google Sheets type platform. I was using PayPal. I was using a WordPress custom build that I
Mhm.
created on WordPress to kind of like funnel the bookings. It was all a whole like all over the place. And as I was getting bigger, I was like, you know what? The only way I'm going to scale this is if I create some software that can manage this whole thing from customer acquisition all the way until you delegate the clean, all the way until you charge a card, all this stuff. I need software to do it. And the stuff that was out there wasn't really that good based on, how I knew the business had to work. And it needed an online booking that was very, very specific how it was done, all these things I had figured it out. So I was like, you know what? I can build a piece of software for myself, just for my company. And that's what I did. And after I built it, it was working well. I just talked about it, I mentioned it on Reddit, and somebody was like, man, I would love to use your software because we know that it's built in the way that these businesses currently are working really well. And so I was like, I could turn what I built for myself into a separate company. So I hired some folks from Upwork, and they transformed my software into a SaaS, software as a service, that other people could use for a monthly fee. That became Launch 27, and that became my first big software exit. Yeah,
That's amazing. And so then you sold Launch 27, so that's no longer yours.
correct.
And in the meantime, Kevin followed your original Reddit post, sorry.
Yeah.
Then he reached out. You guys just organically became friends because of similar
Mhm.
mindsets, I imagine.
Yeah.
And then you guys started coaching, right?
Yep. Yep. That's it. We started coaching. Kevin also built Convert Labs around that time because after Launch 27 was winding down, um, Kevin had already built a version of Launch 27 that focused only on the lead generation on the front end, the lead generation and lead follow-up tool, which Launch 27 did not have. So Kevin built that. And then after I sold Launch 27, Kevin continued building and building and building what became Convert Labs. And then we just, started coaching people as well, and just keeping the vibes going. Like back in the day, we used to be in a Skype group. It was like 50 people in a Skype group, and that's how the Facebook group started, and that's how like the whole community started to blossom. Yeah.
It's amazing. And the patience that you have, I have to say, because you're a good student. And so when you're a good student, you listen, you follow the directions, you take feedback, you move on. And there's a lot of people that ask you a lot of questions.
For
Because you're
sure.
kind of seen now as the expert in this field.
Mhm.
And I know for myself anyway, because people are starting to do it to me, and I'm like, dude, I just have a cleaning business. I'm just sharing my stuff.
Mhm.
So I do commend you for the patience, but also not giving up on us and continuing to inspire people.
Yeah.
Because I imagine that would be frustrating when you get people that maybe don't listen as well.
Yeah, we encountered that. I think like for the most part, especially new entrepreneurs, just the idea of entrepreneurship can be daunting. It can seem difficult.
Hmm.
Most people have not had the opportunity to make money outside of a structured job. And there's a lot of different mindset changes that have to happen around that. There's different work strategies that have to happen. There's different learnings, speed that has to happen. So there's quite a few things. So especially for new entrepreneurs, um, it can be a difficult transition. And we
Hmm.
try to, like, spend some time talking about mindset and spend some time talking about some of these changes that people have to make, because it's not just like working a regular job. But once you master it, the upside is just, well, you know.
I do.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I'm so glad you brought it up, because Jen just mentioned to me before this, she was like, make sure you talk about mindset. It's the number one thing. And I was like, don't worry, I know it's going to come up, because it is. It
Yeah.
is. And Jen was saying, and I wish she was here, but she's driving kids, doing life. She was saying, when she took the course with you. So when Jen took the course, she took the 30-day Zoom option
Hmm.
through via Twitter, and then, it was every day on Zoom. And you and Kevin still offer these every once in a while, but not
Yeah.
all the time, right?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so when Jen took it, she remembered the first day and thinking, "Oh, I got that. I got that." And and she kind of just brushed over it, right? And I think I probably, when she told me about it, I was like, "Yeah, yeah, we believe in big things. We've done big things. Okay, yeah, we got this." But for us, it still is to this day. Like every day, I swear to God, Jen and I are like coaching each other on the mindset piece,
Hmm.
because it's the biggest shift that you make in your life, to realize that you're the owner, that it's on you,
Yeah.
and that you can and you will figure it out. One of
Hmm.
the things that we say all the time is, well, if that person can do it, why can't we?
Hmm.
And the blueprint is so simple to follow that our entrepreneurial brains actually take over far too often. And we have to remember to just follow the blueprint,
Yeah.
to put our passions into other things, not into this business.
And it's funny that that's actually that can be very difficult for people, because I think human beings inherently, like, we're creative,
Hmm.
and we want to bring our creativity and our skill set and our decision making and all these ideas to business. And it's really, really hard to just say, you know what, let me just do the most simple, predictable thing that has been shown to work really, really well for the highest number of people,
Yeah.
and don't change a thing. That is a lot tougher than than
Yeah.
the other version of it that involves creativity and so on. So, but once people kind of figure that out, sometimes they figure it out based on their income. Like they're like, you know what,
Mm.
I'm making some money following the path, but let me go tweak it and change the wheels and add my own spice and then start to make less money, and sometimes you like kind of like make that transition back. But it's hard. It's even hard for me sometimes, even now, if I'm starting a new project. It's just like just do the basics and nothing else. Yeah.
And nothing else. And that's the thing is that and I think the thing with this particular business that was challenging for me in the first year was that there's a lot more time between phone calls or emails or texts.
Hmm.
And I'm used to life being hard. I'm used to jobs being hard. I'm used
Yeah.
to working my butt off. And I'm not saying I don't, I do. It's just different now.
Hmm.
What I work on is more about my brain, because Convert Labs works, the
Yeah.
bookings work, the
Hmm.
cleaners are amazing. I like, because I've, practiced what I preach with my recruiting, I hire really great people and then I
Hmm.
get out of their way.
Yeah.
But getting out of their way is the hardest part because
Mhm.
we want to get in there because we have time. And it's like, oh my God, no, go find something else to do.
Yeah.
And, and I know you're working on a million things. But actually that brings me to, what would a day in your life be like? Like, can you walk me through what your life is like today?
Yeah. So right now, I'm living in Las Vegas. I typically will wake up in the morning. My team for my cleaning business, they use WhatsApp. So
Hmm.
we're all in WhatsApp as a WhatsApp group. My team is in Barbados and the United States and the Philippines, and that's it. Yeah, Barbados, United States, and Philippines.
Hmm.
And so in that group chat, I basically log on to see if there's
Yeah.
any fires that are too big for my admin team to handle. There's something crazy. So I log on for that. There's typically nothing.
Hmm.
And I kind of figure out, what's happening during the day, is anything going on, and just kind of just get, put my finger on the pulse of what's going on for that particular day. But that takes about, let's say 20 minutes.
What time in the morning is that at?
That's about 8 a.m. for
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
So before your cleaners go out.
Hmm.
Yeah. I do the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Mm.
trying to get that out the way. If it's a day where I have payroll, I still do payroll
Mm.
because I just like to, have my hands still in the cash.
Hmm.
So I still do payroll. And so that's it for the core business. Then I may start to think about like how, like, right now I'm thinking about expanding. How can we grow like more customer acquisition ideas? We have a VA that do outreach. So I would check with that VA to see, if they've, grown their list of property managers or whoever else that they're trying to find. If there are any responses, what's happening there with the VA that's doing outreach. Then I may in the afternoon work on some technical stuff. Let's say I'm trying to like add some additional pages to the website, do some design work, any SEO stuff that I'm doing. So I may do some technical stuff there. And then probably by 2 or 3 p.m., I may be on some calls, maybe some Zoom calls, some coaching calls,
Hmm.
and my day pretty much winds down like about 6 p.m. And that's about it. But it's very, very flexible. So like a lot of this isn't super structured. I may skip the morning check-in and check in the afternoon, depending on what's happening. So I have a very, very flexible day. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know every time I would jump into if it was like a meeting with you and me and Kevin and Jen, it would almost always be that I was returning from yoga and you were returning from the gym.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
okay, we're here, in the middle of the workday,
Yeah.
which shows that flexibility.
Yes, for
But
sure.
you're working long days, actually. I'm surprised, in all honesty. I thought you would say, you know, a lot less time spent on it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it fluctuates because I can go months sometimes without working in the business, like
Yeah.
months, months and months. And then sometimes I'm like, you know what, there's a particular thing that I feel excited about now. There's a potential growth area or something, and then
Hmm.
I'll put some more effort.
Yeah.
But so this is where I am right now, but I would not be surprised if in the second half of the summer I go like 2 or 3 or 4 months without really doing anything intensive in the business. Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't need to necessarily, and
Right.
and
Yeah.
yeah, what you're very good at is the entrepreneurial part, right? I think like that all makes sense to me because you're good
Yeah.
at the start, the seeing the problem, finding the solution, moving forward with it.
Yeah.
I know for me anyway, the mundane stuff, the day-to-day stuff in this business is mind-blowingly boring. Um,
Yes. Fact.
fact.
Fact. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
it's funny because before you mentioned that you were making $50,000 a month, and that it's interesting to me that you mentioned that number because that's the exact number. We've formed a millionaire mastermind. I know this isn't your jam, but the millionaire mastermind is, a group of people that all bill at least 50K a month, and we meet monthly, just once a month.
Hmm.
And we needed a marker. Like it was like, well, what revenue do people need to be at in order to join this group? And so we chose 50K, and it was just a random number. And it was like each of us had reached that. So that sounds good. And we all want to reach the next and the next
Yeah.
and the next.
Hmm.
So it seems like that's like a natural number for most
Hmm.
of these businesses to be like, okay, now we're successful. Is
Yeah,
that
for sure.
is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say because at that point you're bringing home like double digit thousands per month, which for most people is more than they'll ever bring home from a paycheck. Yeah.
Wild, right? I have to
Hmm.
remind myself of that because there's days where, you have hard days in this business and you have good days, but
For sure.
I have to
For
remind
sure.
myself of like, oh, I just made X amount of dollars, which is more than most people make in a day
Yeah.
or in a month or in a week or
Mhm.
whatever the
Yeah,
number is.
absolutely.
So out of all of the people that you've coached, is there one or two that really stands out? I know for me as a former teacher, like there's always one or two students that you're like, man, I'm never going to forget that kid.
Yeah, so the two that came to mind, one is I know we haven't met they like Christina hasn't been on, but Christina Tagbay from Houston,
Hmm.
she started a company called So Fresh Maids, and she quit her consulting job. She was a consultant for one of those big four consulting firms. She quit her consulting job as her cleaning service took off, and she built that up to a good 700 or 800K a year. And then she took that money and funneled it into building an e-commerce brand called 54 Thrones.
Hmm.
And 54 Thrones, essentially, she goes around Africa, finding products to build. It's basically a beauty brand. And she built it. That brand took off. She was just on Shark Tank. She got a $250,000 investment on Shark Tank. She was on Oprah's favorite things. She expanded into Sephora and Nordstrom, and she's doing all these amazing things. But none of this would have happened if she didn't start with her cleaning business and have funding for her e-commerce brand.
Hmm.
And then the other person that comes to mind is Shaniqua. She's amazing as well. But the thing about her that makes her stand up to me is when we first started, she was living out of her mom's closet. Like that was her room. She didn't have a laptop. She had an iPad and a phone. So she essentially built her business on an iPad and her phone. And now she is probably at a seven-figure business at this point, and she's branched into e-commerce and not e-commerce, branched into commercial build services, branched into government contracting, doing
Hmm.
all these amazing things. And but just not that long ago, she was still living in her mom's closet, building her business on her little iPad. And so yeah, just like to meet people like that, it makes it difficult sometimes when I meet other people that have they're in a much better situation and they make excuses because I'm like,
Hmm.
yo, think about Shaniqua and think about all these other people that I know that started from literally nothing and how like doing all these amazing things for themselves and for their families. Yeah.
And do you think part of that has to do with where you came from, like going from Barbados? I know in the mindset class you talked about like, look, there's a lot of people in this world that don't have electricity, that don't have hot water, that don't have, all of these things. And for you personally, you went from your 9 to 5 job. You talked about how you went to a coffee shop, you worked until whenever you needed to work till in order
Mhm.
to build this business. Like you didn't just do it in 20 minutes a day or you were all in. Do you think part of that has to do with being from Barbados and being new to the States?
I think so. I really think so because growing up, when I think about, you know, coming home from school and the lights weren't on,
Yeah.
and this happens on a rolling basis in the Caribbean where maybe on Thursdays and Fridays there's no electricity. And then maybe next Thursday and Friday there is electricity. Like you don't know, right? And so I would do my electricity by this by these lamps. I don't know if you've ever seen those lamps. It says it says like God blessed on the side. I'll try to find a picture of one of those lamps. But it was a kerosene lamp. So you light the
Uh-huh.
kerosene and you have like the wick comes
Yep.
down, you light it. That's how I did my homework, like many, many, many days. So
Mhm.
I kind of like knew, like, you know what? Like living in the United States gives you some additional opportunities that I would not have otherwise had living in Barbados. You
Mhm.
live in a country where most people have credit and debit cards. Most people have discretionary income that they're able to spend money on. People like convenience.
Mhm.
The median income is, top 5 or 6 in the entire world. So there's all this additional opportunity. And then the internet came about. So with the internet, instead of having to spend, $50,000 to start a business, you can start a business with $200 or $100 or $50 sometimes. You can just put up something on social media and start a company. So with all that stuff happening, I knew that, you know what, I could do something and this could change not only my life, it'll change my family's life. Because the money that I could make in the United States in 1 month would be years of income for my family back home. Years.
Mhm.
So just with all that, completely motivated, I knew I had to go all in. It wasn't a get rich quick scheme. I would, like you said, leave work and work some more, wake up and work, go back to work and work, lunchtime work. And I did that until I was able to rescue myself from having a job. And I haven't had a job since. I've been able to work for myself now for more than a decade. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Hmm.
And I always think it's interesting because, when we do these hot seat calls, I get to know a lot of people. I get to know a lot of different versions of success. But the running theme has been that you have to have that success. And it's like an internal, whether it's that you lost your job or that your life blew up, you're getting divorced or whatever. We are definitely seeing this theme of people that are like, I had to make this work. It's the people that are like, I have to do this.
Hmm.
And that seems to be the rare thing. Do you find that? Like, not everybody succeeds, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I I agree. There's this extra thing there. It's kind of like, and I always use the gym analogy. I know it's
Mhm,
overused, but we could say like you can take 100 people, bring them in a group training at the gym, give them the same nutrition plan, give them the same coaching, and there's going to be a distribution of success. And that
mhm,
distribution of success is based on some of the things that you just mentioned. Like, am I determined? Am I dedicated? Do I have the mental fortitude to work on something for a long time without seeing results, knowing that results are around the corner? A lot of people are not able to do that because they expect like immediate returns, right?
mhm,
So do I have that mental fortitude to just be patient while still working and not seeing results immediately? Do I have like consistency? Do I have like this bigger why? Like, why do I want to be successful? Is it my family? Is it my kid? Is it like, you know, trying to fashion an amazing life for myself? Like that bigger why, like what's my real motivation? Like all these things have to be in place. And once you have those things, you'll see that distribution of success. And I feel like some of those things are coachable.
mhm,
It's not essentially things that you're born with. I feel like some of those things you can just learn. You can learn discipline, you can learn consistency, you can learn patience. And if you can learn all these things, you can do like whatever beyond just entrepreneurship. You can become an entrepreneur, you can go from cleaning business to e-commerce, from e-commerce to software, which is what I did. I know nothing about software, but I built a 7-figure software business.
amazing.
Because really once you can like gather these skills, you can just like unleash yourself and like go after like almost anything that you can fathom. But yeah, I love that you brought that up. I could go on and on and on about this part of it. But the
Please
bottom
do. I
line
love it.
is, yeah, the bottom line is these skills are teachable. You
Mhm.
can learn these skills, and once you learn them, you can apply them to multiple areas in your life. Yeah, yeah.
What do you do when somebody comes to you and they say, yeah, I followed the post, but I found this other guy and he's telling me to do it this way. And
Mhm.
I'm asking for selfish reasons because I've had this a number of times myself. And every time I'm like, so why are you listening to that guy? But like, I don't, you can't really say that. I mean, I guess you can, but it's not great. But what would you do? Like, do you just say, like, what do you say?
I get that a lot too. It's kind of tough
Yeah.
because there are people that are really, really, really good at presenting themselves as an expert in the field. They're good, and they may be better than you. They may be better than me. They don't have the years of success, or they haven't built a seven-figure business like you have. They haven't done any of those things, but they're good at presenting themselves that way. And all I try to do is ask them, like, like, can this person show their business? Have you seen that they have actually demonstrated success for themselves beyond coaching? Because you can be really good at coaching and have never really done the actual thing that you're presenting yourself as an expert at. So I just kind of ask them these questions to kind of dig in. And at the end of the day, people are going to make their own decisions. You have a fantastic track record in building a business very, very, very quickly to high revenue.
Hmm.
Most people don't have that. And a lot of these people that sell courses, they don't have that either. But they just have this expertise at looking really cool in their suit, or their nice background, and they're really good. And there's not much that you can do except just keep on doing what you're doing, because I haven't been able to solve that
Yeah.
myself. But yeah, it's a good
Well,
question.
and I don't know and I don't want to speak for you, but I don't know that we necessarily want to do lots of coaching, like that, because now that's a whole other, like, okay, so let's talk about that because we have the cleaning business is its own entrepreneurial place. I have
Mhm.
other passions, you have other passions, and then there's this coaching industry, and Tony Robbins is all over this right now, by the
Yeah.
way. Like the
Mhm.
educational online, and we've taken it to YouTube from, because life has changed. A lot of us
Yeah.
go to YouTube to ask how to. Like I do it probably every day. How do I fix this broken garden hose? That's what I
Yeah.
did today. I went to YouTube, somebody posted a video, thank you, went and fixed my garden hose.
Mhm.
So this is how we're doing it now. But there is this whole other like coaching world where people make millions of dollars. Is that something that you really want to do? Or are you more interested in the software side of things?
Yeah, it's something that I am okay doing on the margins, but I'm
Yep.
more interested in building like core companies that I can sell, or
Yep.
core companies that I can keep for a long time and grow, and get distributions, and those to me are is more where my entrepreneurship lands, because there is a component of coaching where you have to tell people, hey, I'm crossed the $20 million mark, and you gotta tell people these things, or like, just to like present your expertise. You're like, my expertise is based on, I've been doing this for 12 years, and I've helped hundreds, if not thousands, of people build massive companies. And then, there's all the skepticism that come with that. There's people are cynics.
Yep.
People are like, yeah, right. People are like, oh yeah, sure, you have a company doing over $1 million a year, over $2 million a year. Yeah, okay. So there's that whole thing. And then you kind of lose like your energy to fight back against some of that and push back and be like, oh yeah, but here's my screenshots. Or here's, what I mean, here's, and then after a while, I'm like, you know what? I'm better off just building a software company, or growing my cleaning business, or doing some other project, versus having to convince people that they can actually become successful. So it's kind of tough. So
Yeah.
I keep coaching on the margins. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys do. I mean, to be fair, you guys do. You and Kevin have been doing the 30-day thing.
Mhm.
Approximately how many of these do you think you've done? I know you've done 27 days, you've done 29 days, you did 21 days with us, you did 30 days. Approximately how many times do you think you guys have actually done that?
We've done it at least a minimum of 8 times. So like,
Yeah.
we always do January's.
Yep.
So I've been done for the last 8 years, and then we'll sprinkle in like two or so additionally per year. So all added up, I would say maybe 20, 27 times, that we've done it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Hmm.
I just think about the number of lives you've impacted. And I know for us, like, this is why we're doing this, because we know that there's somebody out there who's going to watch this and is going to go, oh, I can do that. That
Hmm.
resonates with me.
Yeah.
I can absolutely create a cleaning business so that I can free up my time so
Hmm.
that the really big ideas can either come to me or be executed upon.
Yeah.
Right? Because oftentimes people have these things they wanna do that they can't do because of their day jobs.
Yeah. No, and this is such an important point, because just remember that my day job was accounting finance.
Yeah.
I'm a chartered financial analyst. I worked in mortgage-backed securities and fair value accounting, mutual fund accounting, that type of thing. And there was nothing about that expertise and experience and knowledge that translated to building a cleaning company. There's nothing. So when people are like, well, this is what I do for a living, I'm like, okay, that's cool. It shows that you have enough discipline. It shows that you have the ability to learn,
Mhm.
and that's what you need.
Yeah.
Everything else is going to be a learning. It's going to be a learning project where you begin, and if you don't know internet marketing, fine, you learn as you go. You don't know customer acquisition, fine, you learn as you go. Online sales, SEO, any of these things, follow up, lead generation. If you don't know any of those things, you can learn them systematically so
Mhm.
that by 12 months from now, you have a business doing multiple six figures a year just by you learning each one of these things incrementally. And it has nothing to do with your prior experience. We have people that are nurses, engineers, lawyers that have quit their law firms. Elena was a lawyer. We have people that are doctors, pilots, people that worked in any field that you can imagine and have built successful businesses and gone on to like change their lives and change their families' lives. Yeah.
And I remember you guys telling us, about a woman who she was only billing maybe 200K a year. Like, it wasn't a massive amount, but she was a single mom with a toddler,
Hmm.
and I can't remember her name, but I remember you telling the story about how she didn't need a lot of money. She just needed enough money that she could spend time with her toddler. And a
Hmm.
single mom to not have to work 3 jobs and have, because that's every single mom I know
Hmm.
has had that be their reality, where it's 2, 3 jobs, it's struggle, struggle, struggle. And for this single mom, she could run her cleaning company,
Hmm.
have her cleaners go out and work,
Hmm.
and be able to pay her own bills just enough so that she could take care of her kid at home. I mean, that
Yeah.
is like, I don't know much better than that.
It's fantastic. And she's home during the day.
Yeah,
She's not paying for daycare. She's building a closer relationship with her kid. Stuff like that is priceless.
exactly.
Yeah.
And just to finish off this mindset piece, I think the thing that you said in the very first day, and it's in the YouTube channel again on day one, the way you think today is not the same way you're going to think in a year or 2 years or 3 years if you can commit to this today.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jen and I can definitely tell you that the way we live our lives now compared to 3 years ago. And we're not driving a Lamborghini. We have not bought multiple houses. We are managing to get ourselves out of some pretty amazing financial debts, which a lot of people have faced because of the pandemic and everything else in life.
Yeah.
And bigger projects are coming our way.
Hmm.
Bigger things are coming our way, and we can actively see it because we could go, oh, I've done hard things before.
Hmm.
I've done things that I don't know how to do and figured it out before. And if that person can do it, then I can do it. So let's
Yeah.
go. Right. And that, like, 3 years ago, I thought that way. I did not think that way. I thought, how am I going to pay my bills? I need a job. I need a job. Don't you need a
Hmm.
job? Like, well, you don't quit your day job, guys. I'm not saying quit it and, like, leave your job, but eventually you probably will.
Yeah. And I really love what you said, like those few words. I've done hard things before.
Mm.
That is so powerful. And to your point, the opportunities that come up after you have gone through the process of building something with your own hands, those opportunities just become a lot clearer now that you know that your the limitations that you otherwise thought you had, they're no longer there. Yeah, that is like, whew, that's
That's the
fantastic.
big stuff.
Yeah.
And it impacts your health. It
Hmm.
impacts your bank account, obviously, your relationships, your friendships. Like everything has changed for the better.
Hmm.
Everything. And for my entire life, I would say things like, I'm going to meditate. Never did it. And now it's like, I have to meditate because this is now the most powerful tool that I have
Hmm.
is this human brain and adjusting how it sees things and realizing the limiting beliefs because they're constant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, right?
That could be a entire call. That on that just that one subject, eliminating limiting beliefs and just having the whole world open up. Yeah. That could be its own 1 hour call for sure.
It's true. That'll probably be our next in our Millionaire Mastermind, we choose a theme every
Yeah.
month.
Hmm.
But that'll probably be one of our themes coming up because it's a great one. And it's the one that just it's the thread. It's the thread through everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
So what's
Yeah.
next for you?
I want to start this project on to help businesses with accounting.
Mm,
So that's kind of a small idea that I'm playing around with right now. I want to continue to grow my cleaning business. I may be looking at expanding, but I'm going to kind of see how I can find companies that have expanded and done it well.
mm,
Trying to kind of like do some research and see who has done it well and use them as kind of like a little bit of a roadmap to expand a little bit geographically.
that's great.
And then, kind of helping with Convert Labs with Kevin.
Mhm.
Those kind of like the three main balls I have in the air right now. Yeah.
Well, and the coolest thing about Convert Labs is the community aspect of it. Like we all know each other all in this virtual way. Sorry, microphone. In this virtual way, all through the community on Convert Labs.
Hmm.
And it is really powerful to see all these people all over the world doing this thing. And there's not that many. Like this is not a huge software company. It doesn't have, $75 million in backing from some venture capitalists in San Francisco. It's Kevin and six guys.
Yeah.
And well, I shouldn't say guys, six people.
Hmm.
And that's it. And then there's, the rest of us who are actual users of the software that then
Yeah.
share how we do stuff.
Hmm. No,
Oh, I love
absolutely.
it. And I
Yeah, me
love
too.
the carrying on, the continuing on to pass it on to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a fantastic product. It works, and the community, with any product, the community is where the vast amount of value is going to be.
exactly.
So yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree 100%.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
awesome. Rohan, I know you mentioned that you've passed the $20 million marker. What did you do that day when you logged into your Stripe and you probably did like all-time view, right?
Yes.
So what did you do?
You know what I did? I made a post on Reddit. Went back to the homeland, went back to the homeland. That's where it all started. So I made a post on Reddit, just crossed the $20 million mark, and just gave them like just a general update and a little bit of inspiration. I tagged some of the people that were around in the beginning. Some of those people are doing, they have bigger businesses than I do now. Like Dela in Australia is doing fantastic. His company is bigger than mine now, and which makes me feel amazing. Like people are like, oh well, do you care that he's bigger? Do you know how happy I am? Like this man followed along something that I built that I shared, and he's a company that is doing millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars per year. I won't say how many,
Yeah.
a lot. So I kind of tagged some of those, and we just chatted on Reddit for a little bit. That was kind of how I spent the day, and then I did some stuff in Las Vegas.
You
Uh,
went and partied. Come on.
you know, it is
Little
Las
celebration.
Vegas. You gotta imbibe a little bit. You gotta enjoy. Yeah. But yeah, it was a pretty chill day. It was an awesome day. It was a really cool day for sure. Mhm.
That's amazing. Did you have like I know people are always thanking you online, but have you met many people in real life in person?
Yeah, so I had a couple meetups in Las Vegas.
Cool.
So Elena and Mike flew in from New York City to hang out with me in Vegas. There's a bunch of people. I'll say in the entire community, I've met about 25 people
Okay.
in a 10-year period. Yeah.
Amazing. I would
Hmm.
love to meet you guys in person.
That'll be
Like,
awesome.
it's
It'll be
so funny we
awesome.
haven't. You've changed our lives. We're now changing other people's lives, which is more important than anything. Seeing each other in person is, icing on the cake, really.
Yeah. We
Um,
should do it. Maybe have one massive reunion or something somewhere. I think that would be cool. There's
I,
hundreds of people.
that's just it. And like I know, Kevin's mentioned this before, the top cleaning companies in the United States, you can safely say that they've learned from you if they're not Molly Maids or Mary Maids.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, and that, you know, straight up, like name your city and we can look and I can do the same. Like, and this is part of the reason I believed you guys, by the way, because I had my little spidey senses like, what's the catch? What's the catch? And then you just start Googling and you'll see if they have an online booking form, they probably learned from these guys.
No, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been pretty fantastic experience, and the people in the community have been it's been they're really sharing for some reason. I think that has just been like our ethos in the beginning, just share and be open. And if you share and be open, people will share and be open with you. People like like Rohan is the main person, but do you know how much I have to say this, how much I learned from the community? When we were on Skype, if somebody tried something and it worked, they would post it in Skype. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try that. When we moved to Facebook, it was the same thing. That continued. So a lot of my success and the stuff I have done is not because of my brilliance, is because the community came together and we made that the ethos, and people helped me and I helped them. Yeah.
That's it. And that's everything. Right. And we have the
Mhm.
same business philosophy within our cleaning company.
Yeah.
That hey, you probably know better than I do. How do you, XYZ? And then they tell you, and then you
Yeah.
listen, and then you apply the thing that they said.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty simple philosophy,
Mhm.
but it definitely works.
Yeah.
It feels good at the end of the day, which is nice.
Absolutely.
It's
100%.
nice to not hate your job.
Yeah. Hmm.
But I do want to add on that for a lot of people, like when you started your cleaning company, you didn't have any kids, right?
Correct.
Yeah, like you didn't have toddlers running around or anything.
Mhm.
And there are a lot of people that do try to start these businesses. They're working full time. They're probably on their computers full time. It's so different now. Like, I don't know how you feel, but I definitely feel like I am on a screen from the moment I wake up until
Hmm.
the moment I go to sleep. And I
Yeah.
have to consciously turn everything off, put on do not disturb, go
Yeah.
to yoga so that I am in person for 2 hours with people.
Yeah.
And, my eyes hurt just from being on screen. Right.
Hmm.
And so I know there's a lot of people that are taking these things and are learning these things. And like, when we say it was easy, it wasn't easy. None of us will say it's easy. And it's particularly hard when you are taking care of small beings, when you
Yeah.
have other things in your life, when you're on screen all day. But doing something every day is better than trying to run a marathon with this business. And I do find, like,
Yes.
do you find that, Rohan? Like people try to do everything in a weekend
Mhm.
and they're like, it's
Yeah,
not
yes.
working.
Yes. You're just gonna burn out. Like really small incremental steps.
Yeah.
Is how this business is built. Just show up for yourself in a small way. Take one step today, another step tomorrow. By the end of the year, you will be surprised at what you've built. And especially again, if you have a family and like those things are going to provide additional challenges. But if you tell yourself that you just do this little bit of thing, this little bit, a little bit, a little bit, over time, you're going to be helping your family because you're going to be able to quit that job and free up a whole 9 or 10 hours per day. And just by just doing this little bit, a little bit, a little bit. So it ends up working out. But I know there's some additional challenges for sure, especially if you have young ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's what we found anyway with everybody we talked to, where it's like, okay, just you don't have to do everything today. You don't have to do
Yeah.
everything this week. Just do a little bit.
Hmm.
And really find people that are looking for cleaners, find cleaners that are looking for clients,
Hmm.
and don't be a dick. Be
Yeah.
nice in the middle. That's it. That is now your new job, is to
That
find
is it.
people looking for cleaners, however you need to find them. There's a million ways to find them.
Mm-hmm.
Find people that are looking for clients. Be nice.
Yeah. Ooh, that is it. That could be the name of the like YouTube channel if you wanted it to be. That could be the name of everything.
Well, we
That's
named it
it.
Cleaning Company Blueprint because we understand SEO.
There you go. There you go. There you
And
go.
it is the blueprint. It's
Yeah,
exactly accurate. So there we go. Well, thank you so much, Rohan. I mean,
for
you
sure.
know, I say this to you all the time, but I'll say it again. You've changed our lives,
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
and it's true. And we love being able to have an impact on other people too,
Mm-hmm.
and just keep paying it forward. That's it. That's all we're doing here.
I
We're
just
just
keep
going to
it
keep paying
going.
it forward,
Yeah.
and
Well,
it
that's
works.
fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at what you've done in such a short period of time.
Mm,
How much you're able to distill this information in a way that people can learn it quickly. It's just like really well laid out how you present information. I'm a little bit more scattered, but like I see some of your stuff, I'm like, okay. Makes perfect
mm.
sense. You do a really fantastic job, not only at the core business, but being able to like distill information in a really, really cool way. So I want to
Well,
give you
thank
props for
you.
that.
I feel
Yeah.
like I have severe ADHD and it's always a big jumbled mess. So that means a lot.
So really,
I'm always like, really?
that's funny.
I do? It's a
Yeah,
huge
absolutely
mess.
do. Yeah.
But that's great. Yeah. We're going to do a video probably in the next month or two where I'll dive in deep on recruiting again, because we do find like the pain points are, it's always SEO, because everybody wants to understand it and do it quickly, and it's not a quick game. It's a long game. And it changes constantly. And so I know Daniel did a workshop on Friday on that. And then I'm doing a workshop on hiring, and the pain
Okay.
points around hiring, because that also changes constantly. But the fundamentals are still the same.
Is it in the mastermind?
Well, we also have the mastermind, but then
Okay.
we've just been offering workshops in the community.
I don't know how you typically end these.
That's it. We're
Oh,
done. Yep.
okay.
We said our thanks, and then Jen will wrap it up.
Okay,
She figures it
awesome.
out.
And you're welcome, Rich. Rich, I just want to thank you. Learning so much more than I expected. Awesome, Rich. Appreciate it, man. We definitely got to connect again soon. I'll check the schedule and see when I could be on one of those, either one of the mindset groups or one of the workshops or something soon coming up.
Yeah, if you have like, I mean, we can obviously do a workshop with you. That's easy. It's just it's kind of a deeper dive. So if you have
Okay.
anything that you want to do, I mean, the number of stuff, I mean, we're always sharing our spreadsheet and we are not accountants. So to
Hmm.
me, I'd be interested in like an actual accounting spreadsheet. Sort of, might be a little boring though.
Might be a little boring, but
No
okay,
offense to the accountants.
I'll think of something. I'll let you know for sure.
Perfect. Thank you, Rohan. And
All
thank you
right.
everybody for being here. We
All
will
right.
see you all
See you like
soon.
that. All right.
Bye.